Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Chaz here, the lab coat's on back order, and it's time for this week's team building video for the Pokemon Omega Ruby rotation battles in the free battle in Battle Spot. So with only 3 Mega Evolutions left to form as, or serve as team captain, what we're going to focus on this week is Mega Aerodactyl. So I think I've used him in battles before, but not in the rotation battles just yet. So he gains the, I believe it's Tough Claws ability, which means if he physically connects against something, it's added damage. So he is going to be team captain. Let's now take a look at the rest of the team I've assembled to help get him into some victories, hopefully, in this week's Omega Ruby rotation battles. So let's begin. So here he is, Aerodactyl, our Mega Evolution team captain for the week. He is a mild Pokemon, which is an increase to special attack while decreasing defense. Isn't that great? Yeah, it's not the best nature for a physical offensive Pokemon like Aerodactyl, but it is what he was born with, or rather, resurrected with from the old Amber, so it's what we gotta work with. And the ability is Pressure as a regular Aerodactyl, so it's going to drain double the PP away from attacks that the opponent lands against him. But when he does Mega Evolve while holding the Aerodactylite, the ability actually becomes Tough Claws, and that improves the power of all physical contact moves by 33%. And as you'll see from the moveset, he has nothing but those physical contact moves. Aerial Ace is Stab. It's only 60 power, but being physical contact is going to increase it by another, 20, making it 80 power. And the Tough Claws increases it by 20, and then the Stab increases it even more. So it is actually the strongest move that Aerodactyl is going to have this week. And if the opponent has any sort of evasiveness going on, we can still be sure to land a hit. Of course, Aerial Ace never misses. The other 3 moves all have 80 for power. Iron Head is good to cause some flinching as well, because you'll see the speed is at 343. So this is a pretty fast Pokemon, and we could get the flinch. Crunch is good to possibly lower the defense of the target as well. And Dragon Claw is just there for basic power. There's no secondary effect, but it could be pretty good against any Mega Rayquaza we might happen to encounter in the rotation battles. You'll see for the super training, we max out the attack, max out the speed. We put the training where we needed to for this Pokemon. He's fast, he hits hard, that's what we wanted to go with. The first Pokemon joining Aerodactyl as one of his team members this week is going to be Dozer, the Snorlax. Dozer is a naive Pokemon, which is an increase to speed while lowering special defense. Again, not the best nature. Snorlax are not known to be fast anyway, so maybe someday I'll try to max her out for speed and see how that plays out. But for the time being, she has the naive nature. She's got the immunity ability, which says that she's not going to be poisoned, because she is, of course, immune to that. And the item is Chesto Berry. It always works well with the rest attack. You can rest, heal up your full HP, and wake up immediately instead of spending 2 turns sleeping. Now for the moveset. I've said in previous weeks I like to go with speed control if possible, and I've been sort of leaning towards having faster Pokemon use the speed control, like moves like, as you'll see, Bulldoze and Rock Tomb, for example. But I realize I can actually have a more defensive Pokemon. They might be slow, but if they have pretty good defenses to survive a hit, they can at least get one of those speed control moves off. And I think Dozer is the way to go with that. So you see, she does have Bulldoze and Rock Tomb. Bulldoze is a ground move, and Rock Tomb is rock, of course, and both will always lower the speed of the target when it hits. Now, we've got Metronome on here. That's a move she can't relearn, and I know it's a move that Munchlax can be born with, or I think it's just a move that Munchlax learns normally. So she could have kept it if she, grew up from Munchlax, but she was actually caught back in Fire Red as a Snorlax, and I used a move tutor to teach her Metronome. I just love Metronome. It's fun. You don't know what's going to happen. I don't use it seriously to actually try to win, but in a pinch, if I really need to luck out, I'm going to try that Metronome. And as I say, rest is there to work with the Chesto Berry. You get a full heal and wake up immediately. The super training for Dozer, we max out the attack stat, and we want to even up the defenses, so we put a good amount into defense and dropped a tiny bit into special defense. They're both a little over 200 each. The next Pokemon for the team this week is going to be good old Squeak the Raticate. He is a relaxed Pokemon, which is a boost to his defense while lowering speed, so that's not the best either. I guess this is the week of not best natures for my Pokemon. But again, it is what he has. We are going to work with that. His ability is Guts, so if he has a status condition, like a burn or poison or such, he's going to increase his attack stat. And the item is Focus Sash. I've used this many times before. Hopefully it's going to play out well this week. The idea here is you'll see one of his moves is Counter. So Focus Sash ensures that he will not faint from a single hit if he's at full HP. And if it's a physical attack that the opponent went for, as long as it's not a ghost type that's using it, we can use Counter and double that damage back, doing possibly 288 times 2 if he does go all the way down to his Focus Sash. So the rest of the moveset, just to make use of the Guts attack, the Guts ability, if he does have a status condition, Facade is on here. It increases in power if the Pokemon is affected by a status condition, and Guts also boosted as well, so that could be a pretty powerful hit if he does take some sort of condition. Now, Sucker Punch is here for priority if the opponent is pretty low in the HP, and I think they're going to try to outspeed with a move. We can go for the Sucker Punch to try to knock them up before they can even land it. Counter, of course, I already mentioned that. And Endeavor will work pretty good. Excuse me, work pretty good if we can outspeed the next opponent after countering from the Focus Sash. So if he goes down to 1 HP, I can use Endeavor on the next target, bringing them down to the HP level of the user, which in that case would be 1. For the Super Training, we max out the speed as much as we could to try to offset that nature. We put a good amount into HP because I want the counter to hit as hard as possible. So the more HP Squeak loses from a physical hit, the more we're going to double back at the opponent. And we put some into the attack as well just to add more to the Facade and the Sucker Punch. I don't use those as much, but in a pinch when I need to, I can actually try to make use of that with some added attack Super Training. The next Pokemon on the team is going to be Caliburn the Aegislash. This is a brave Pokemon, which is actually a good nature. It increases the attack stat while lowering speed. And Aegislash, at least my Aegislash, is not super fast to begin with, but increasing the attack stat is nice. So of course the ability is Stance Change. Caliburn will change forms in battle based on what attacks he goes for. A physical move, he'll go into Blade form. If I throw up the King Shield, he goes back into his Shield form. And he's holding the leftovers because since we can spend some turns shielded up with the King Shield, that's going to be a free turn of leftovers recovery and getting back some HP. Now, we have some more speed priority in Caliburn here with Shadow Sneak. Ghost type attack will always hit first, and when he uses Shadow Sneak, he goes into Blade form at the start of the turn. He's going to have his increased attack stat and get off some pretty powerful damage. The downside is he no longer has his shield form for that turn, so if the opponent goes for a attack against him then, he doesn't have his defenses up. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Gyro Ball is a pretty decent move for a slow Pokemon. It is a Steel type, so it is Stab, just like Shadow Sneak. And if the user goes after the target, or if there's the speed stat, I think it is. If the speed stat of the user is lower than the speed stat of the target, it increases in damage based on the difference. So this could work out pretty well. I've never used Gyro Ball before. I'm going to give it a shot this week. I didn't have the Stab Steel move on the team, so I thought I'll go with that. And to help the team out, this is our Reflect setter for the week. Caliburn can put up the physical defensive wall of Reflect for 5 turns, cutting our physical damage by half. And of course, there is the King Shield. That's the only way to get an Aegislash back into their shield form in battle, other than withdrawing it to its Pokeball. For Caliburn Super Training, maxed out the attack stat and evened up the defenses quite nicely at about 360 apiece. Of course, that's in shield form. I think it goes down to 160 each in Blade form, which still isn't too bad. Not as good, of course, but defenses are still nice. The 5th Pokemon for the team this week is going to be Blitz the Raichu. Blitz is a mild Pokemon, which is an increase to the special attack. Very nice. Lowering defense. Not good, but the defense isn't good to begin with anyway, so that's not that big of a deal to lose. And the ability Static says if the opponent physically connects against Blitz, there's a chance that he will paralyze them, which could come in handy, and that could be some speed control as well. And the item Air Balloon renders the holder immune to ground attacks, which is Blitz's only weakness, of course. And it's always a little bit of a sneaky strategy, but as I mentioned in past weeks, if I bring Blitz into battle in one of the 2 rear spots on the rotation platform at the start, it doesn't show the opponent that he's holding Air Balloon, so I can rotate him up freely. And if I see there's, like, for example, a Primal Groudon, I can imagine they're going to try to bring it up for a ground move. I'll have a free turn to be immune to that as they then learn that he's holding Air Balloon. So for the moveset, we've got Thunderbolt on there. Good for stab, could paralyze, just basically powerful as it is. Grass Knot can deal with any, perhaps, Primal Kyogre. And it's interesting, I keep mentioning all the Primals in Mega Rayquaza every single week, but we don't really see a lot of them. So I guess maybe I'm preparing for the wrong things, but at least Grass Knot does come in handy against other things as well. And Feint is a move that a Raichu cannot relearn. It's a move that Pikachu has, and it is another priority move where it goes first. If the opponent is really low on the HP, then I can go for Feint, but it's not powerful at all, so they have to be pretty low for me to hope to get a knockout with it. And Blitz is our light screen setter for the week. I can rotate him in. He's pretty fast, so we can get the light screen up possibly before the opponent lands an attack against him, and getting the special defense up for the team. Super Training, we maxed out the speed, maxed out the special attack. As I said with Aerodactyl, we put the Super Training where we needed to for the week, and that is Blitz. The final Pokemon on the team this week is going to be our powerhouse Machamp, with one of the best natures, as you'll see. Adamant is a boost to the attack stat, lowering special attack, one of the best natures you can get for a physical Pokemon like Machamp. Jolly is good as well. It increases speed while lowering special attack. And the ability Guts, just like Squeak, if Machamp takes a status condition, it's going to increase his attack stat even more, And for an added little bonus, he's holding that muscle band, which improves the power of all physical type moves by, I believe, 10%. For the move set, we got some more speed control here with low sweep. It's pretty powerful, and it came in pretty handy during the Kanto Classic, so I think this might be a move I'll keep on Machamp for quite some time. It is pretty powerful, always lowers the speed stat of the target, and only ghost types are going to be immune to that low sweep, so that's something I have to watch out for. Earthquake is basically just there for pure power, 100 base power, very effective against things, and Ice Punch is there for some type coverage. Knockoff is there as well to get rid of any held items, as well as if we see ghost types and we expect they might rotate in, we can go for the super effective knockoff attack. For Machamp Super Train, we maxed out the attack stat and even up the 2 defenses at about 211, 212 for each, special and physical. So that is going to be your team for this week's Pokemon Omega Ruby Rotation Battles, featuring Mega Aerodactyl as the team captain. Feel free to leave me a comment down below, let me know what you think of the team I've assembled, and any suggestions you have for improvements to the movesets or strategies that I can use these guys in future battles with. So with all that being said, I hope you come back to the channel tomorrow and check out how these battles go. I'm going to record in just a moment. Until then, I'll catch you next time.